Sir Talwynn's boots struck the stone floor with sharp, rhythmic echoes until ancient rock gave way to something softer and unmistakably wetter. His steps landed with a sickening squelch, and a deep shiver ran through his spine. He halted, one hand instinctively reaching for the blade at his hip, the other gripping his torch tighter. Trembling slightly, his shakes cast leaping shadows across the glistening walls. "What in the name of the old gods is this place?" he whispered, a quiver upon his lips. The walls pulsed faintly, subtle and slow, shimmering gently with a wet sheen. Veins of living roots, or something far fouler, crisscrossed every surface. They throbbed endlessly as though they carried life, and the very stone itself breathed. Tendrils, long and viscous like arteries carved from old flesh, stretched across the cavern walls and ceiling. As Talwyn stepped forward, they writhed beneath his boots, recoiling, twisting gleefully, tasting his presence. Pushing forward into the darkness, the sound of flesh pumping and writhing echoed along the passageway. Deep, painful moans grew stronger, and the lump of fear lodged in Sir Talwyn's throat grew larger. Navigating the twists and turns of a nightmare come to life, the meld of pain continued to rise, building slightly with each step and beckoning him onward. At the crescendo of suffering, an opening presented itself to Sir Talwyn, and he knew he must step forth. Creeping ever closer to the terror's core, the darkness consumed the light, chewing it up and swallowing it whole without thought. Trembling, scared, and alone in a world of agony, Sir Talwyn raised his torch reluctantly, brandishing it in the direction of a nearby wall. A strange feeling caught in his throat. His eyes widened in shock, lips parted in astonishment, and fear stirred deep within. His torchlight trembled and fell on a carved figure, half swallowed by the wall. In frantic fashion, he spins, twists, turns, and flails in panic, yet his actions bring no peace, with the full extent of the horror laid bare before his eyes. Bodies upon countless bodies emerge from the tendrils and root-like masses, frozen in contorted poses of agony. Mouths open in silent screams, limbs twisted in the act of struggle. Humans, elves, sea folk, beasts of all shapes, and creatures no scholar had yet named, none had been spared from this hell. Hundreds, thousands, stared back at Sir Talwyn, their features too detailed to be sculpted, too perfect, and all too real. He stepped closer, hand trembling as he reached toward the nearest form. A woman, or what remained of one, face stretched in terror, eyes wide. The instant his fingers brushed the stone flesh, her corpse twitched in reaction, an uncomfortable, awkward, painful movement, followed by a low, guttural groan and sound of shattering bones. Sir Talwyn stumbled backward, torch flickering, flame stuttering as one arm broke free, groping outward and clawed at the air. Its twisted mouth moved, no breath, no sound, but he could still tell it begged for the end. "By the gods, they're alive," he breathed, horror thick in his voice. He lifted the torch once more and scanned the wall. His eyes fell on a creature, half dragonid, adorned in glistening golden black plate, unrusted against time, and clung to the tendrils. Around its neck hung a rusted tag engraved with ancient script. He leaned close, heart thundering, his eyes searching in the darkness, the lick of the flames offering just enough to make out the words. "Night. Talwyn?" he gasped, his blood turning to ice. He moved quickly to the next shape, a tall, pale man with hollowed eyes. Another tag. The name struck like a blade, Brother Talwyn. Next, a ferocious canine-like humanoid, King Talwyn. Another, then another, again and again, all of them, all him. 100 versions of himself, twisted, altered, aged, mutated. Faces he'd never worn, and yet all familiar, staring back at him with silent desperation. He staggered backwards, surrounded by the terrible truth. They were all him. Different lives, different ends, all trapped here in this living tomb, fused to the walls of some ancient, pulsing, godlike organism, a prison outside time, and he had entered it willingly.